I'm Harrison Graham. Coming up on Chicago Bears Now. Could the Bears trade for Haason Reddick or Matt Judon? Both are in the NFL trade rumor mill right now. We will talk about both those guys and get you caught up on the latest news around each player here on Chicago Bears Now. But listen, before we do all of that, first off, thank you guys so much. We crossed 96,000 subscribers. We're trying to get to 97,000. With your help, we can get there. And if the Bears make a big trade, we're going to go live. So hit that sub button, turn on notifications, and if the Bears take a swing for one of these players, we'll be going live, breaking it all down for you. Let's talk about the possibility of it coming up right now. Jets edge rusher, which is weird to say because he hasn't even played a snap for them, Haason Reddick has requested a trade from New York. And essentially this is because he has not received a new contract, which he knew, and the Jets knew that he wanted a new contract when they traded for him in March. So since he hasn't got one, he wants out. Now, the Jets released a statement after these reports dropped earlier today and said, "We have informed Haason that we will not trade him. He will continue to be fined per the CBA if he does not report." This isn't a Jets show, but I just have to get this off my chest real quick. I talked about this on my other show as well, 4 Verts. Check it out on YouTube. But this is just classic Jets. You traded for a player that you knew wanted a pay raise and an extension. It would not pay for his current contract, the final year of his deal, and you act surprised when it doesn't work out. I mean, think about this debacle that has taken place. Number one, you traded a conditional third-round pick for Reddick that can be a second in the 2026 draft. You have yet to give him an extension. You're surprised when he doesn't report to any of the offseason program and now training camp. And now, since no contract has happened, Reddick says, well, I have no choice but to request a trade. And then the Jets come out and say, yeah, we're not going to trade him, and he's going to continue to get fined per the CBA. Yeah, because that's going to motivate him to show up. It hasn't up to this point. Why would that start now? Now, since this is a Bears YouTube channel, should the Bears swoop in? I already received tons of DMs about it as soon as this dropped, and I do think from an X's and O's standpoint, just what teams can absorb Haason Reddick's current contract and give him an extension and need another pass rusher, the Bears in theory do make sense in that regard. And he's been a very productive player. Now, he's fit historically much more as a 3-4. He's like 6'1", 6'2", 240, 245. He's not a, traditional 260, 265, 4-3 edge rusher. Doesn't mean it can't work. I think he's a talented enough player where it can, but I do think that should be mentioned here. Maybe the Bears don't view him as a X's and O's fit, but you can't decline or dismiss the production that he's had, 11 or more sacks in the last 4 years, including 16 in 2022. Now, I'm guessing that Haason Reddick at least wants top 10 edge money. And that means $22 million per year or more. And I understand him wanting that. I also think if the Bears were to get involved, you can't pay him more than what you paid Montez Sweat because he's 3 years older than Sweat and he's not as good of a X's and O's fit. So I think it would have to come in less than that. But I do expect that he probably looks at this Bradley Chubb, $22 million. Yeah, I want more money than him. So I do think he wants top 10 edge money. So that's kind of what it comes down to. A, what's it going to cost you in a trade? Can't be more than a third. That's what the Jets gave up, and they have no position of power right now. And 2, what kind of contract are you giving him? How much money guaranteed are you giving him? This all comes down to roster construction, salary allocation. How much money does Ryan Poles want to invest in the edge position? He already gave one guy a huge contract. Does he want to give out another big contract? I think for the right deal, I would consider it. But again, I would understand if he doesn't want to do that right now. I want to know from you. Would you pay Haason Reddick top 10 edge money, $22 million per year or more on at least a 2-year extension? Type P for pay or W for won't. Would you do that deal, P for pay, W for won't? Let me know what you guys think. If it was 2 years, $45 million, 30 guaranteed, I'd probably do that. I mean, again, while you have Caleb on this rookie contract, you can be a little more risque with these contracts, but you don't want to, go crazy all in on a guy until you're 100% sure you have the quarterback. I feel good about Caleb. I'm not saying Reddick is the Khalil Mack type of trade in terms of commitment, but you got to factor all that stuff in. All right, coming up next, maybe Matt Judon is a more viable option. Is that the case? We will dive into that as well. But first, speaking of money and making decisions on how to allocate your financial resources, for you on a personal level, beyond the Chicago Bears' football team, Rocket Money is the app to help you do just that. Go download Rocket Money. RocketMoney.com/Bears now will redirect you to your app store where you can create an account, sync up your bank info, and they're going to have everything you need right in front of you on one screen. You can see all of your subscriptions on one screen, and most Americans think they're spending like $60-70 per month on subscriptions. The reality is it's probably closer to $300 because you know what happens? You sign up for 2-week trials, you commit to all these things. I was paying for Xbox Live years after I was playing Xbox before I got Rocket Money. I canceled that. I signed up for like a golf trial app a few years ago when I was trying to watch one of the majors. Forgot that I did that, got charged for a year. So, I lost out on money, but I didn't lose out on more because I was able to cancel it with the Rocket Money app. They're going to help you stay on top of your finances. You can also use it to help manage and set budgets. You can negotiate to lower certain bills like your energy provider, your cell phone company. They'll find you competitive offers with other companies through the app. Check it out. It's awesome. If you use the app to its full potential, you can save up to $740 per year. Think about what you could do with over $700. You could go to a Bears game. You could go on a vacation. You could take your wife, your kids on a couple of nice meals. Get going with Rocket Money right now. RocketMoney.com/Bears now. It's RocketMoney.com/Bears now. Go download the app today. Get started. Link is in the comments and in the description of this video. Okay, Jeremy Fowler had the report just a little bit ago that multiple teams have inquired about trading for pass rusher Matthew Judon amidst his contract stalemate with the Patriots. Judon is due $6.5 million in the final year of his contract with New England. He says the Patriots have made a contract offer to Judon earlier this summer, which Judon did not accept. Are the Bears in the mix here? He's reporting multiple teams have reached out. It's hard to say, and it's interesting when you compare these two players in terms of what it would cost. Judon obviously spent last year on the sideline mostly with injury, but he's been a damn good player too. And even though he's played in more 3-4s recently, I actually think he would fit better in a 4-3 than Haason Reddick will. He's 6'3", about 270, so he's got enough size there, and he plays with speed as well. Now, you got to factor in a lot of things: production, injuries, contract, trade compensation. Age is another one. Judon turns 32 next month. Reddick turns 30, I believe, this month. One of them's August, one September. I might be getting them backwards. But for their 2024 season, Judon will be 32 and Reddick 30. So if you're given an extension on top of the final year of their contracts, I think for either player, the max you would go is 3 years. And ideally, I'd rather do 2, even if you have to pay a little bit more per year, because you're talking about pass rushers at the age of 30 or older. You never know if they're going to decline quickly, because at certain positions, guys do start to decline quickly. What I do know is you could feel a whole lot different about this defensive line if you added one of these guys. I'm not saying Judon and Reddick are top flight pass rushers, but they're in that second tier. I mean, they're somewhere between 8 and 15 at their position, and they can flat out get after it. And even if neither of them defended the run at a super high level, we know Sweat's going to do that. So these guys could just pin their ears back, go get the quarterback. Sweat can be that kind of true 3-down player that can defend the run and go get after the quarterback. And all of a sudden, that front four is looking pretty good. You got Booker as a rotation guy now who seems to be coming on. So I don't know, man. If the price is right and you feel good about Caleb Williams, I certainly understand the appeal if you are the Chicago Bears. But you also got to be cautious and don't overreact and overpay if the value doesn't make sense in trade comp right now. Pick an edge. Who would you rather have given all the information? Type MJ for Matt Judon, HR for Haason Reddick. I think for me it's pretty simple. Who's going to cost less on an extension and in trade comp? I don't know how attainable Reddick actually is because the Jets just going to eat that pick right now. I don't know if they are because they're not going to get that back in a trade. I feel like Judon's more gettable. Patriots are rebuilding. He's 32 next month. I don't think he'd cost a crazy amount in an extension. Maybe get him at about $20 million per year, 2 years, $40 million. Like, that's pretty reasonable for him. And again, fit-wise, he's a bigger body. I think he would fit better. And New England kind of is similar conditions-wise with the weather that Chicago is. Now, Philly can get a little cold and windy too, but I just think the transition would be pretty easy for him. So, yeah, I think I'd rather go Judon. But again, I'd be interested in both guys if the price was right. All right. Appreciate you guys tuning in to this segment. Matt Judon, Haason Reddick. We'll see if this goes anywhere. I feel like Judon's much more likely to get traded at this point in time, but we'll see where it goes. Bear down and don't forget to subscribe.